Okay. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Dave Steckel, and I am, like I said, I think the best way to describe me is I'm the group facilitator for the premier community of Profitable Sunrise, which is tied to the NJF World or Global Group, private group, which Nanci Frazer is leading. I'd like to welcome everybody to this call. We have a great call and a great guest with us today. We're going to devote all the time today to just picking Nanci's brain, Nanci Frazer. The way we're going to do this is we're going to have a kind of a panel discussion. It's going to include myself and Armin Hamalian, as well as Pete Cameron, who are two very big builders in the community, sharing this with a lot of different people, a lot of really great people who are coming on the call. And Nanci, I'd like to introduce formally Nanci Frazer to our group. Nanci is the leader of the, and what is the, Nanci, I want to make sure I get this right. NJF World?
Yeah, it's just NJF Global Group.
NJF Global Private Group. Okay, there's one of 20, I believe, at least, in Profitable Sunrise. So, Nanci, because there are some new people on the call, and I think we've all gotten, some of us have gotten bits and pieces. I've certainly gotten a lot from having had an opportunity to talk to you directly. But what I'd like to do before we kind of get into some specific questions that Armin and Pete do have, could you give us kind of a short narrative history, so to speak? I mean, just take 5 minutes or so and let us know, I mean, how did this thing start? Like, and where is it derived from? Because it's not, it's not an MLM, it's not an HYIP. This is something completely different, and the structure of it's completely different. And it would help us, I think, if we had context for how it evolved. Okay?
Sure.
And if you could maybe share with us not only how Profitable Sunrise evolved from your understanding, but also how you came into it and your group developed, because boy, you've been doing some great things too at the NGF level. So maybe we can start there.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of their schedule for being on the call. This call is actually probably the largest call we've had. Everything's been very private and sharing just in a very intimate level, which has been incredible because our group went from being just me to 1,400 members. And it went from my initial $200 to having over $700,000 in deposits since August 20th. So it's pretty exciting. I'm going to tell you at the beginning of this what this is. Profitable Sunrise is not a company. Profitable Sunrise is the charitable platform of a very successful collateral lending group. Collateral lending, you may have also heard the term hard money lenders, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But that is the key. Profitable Sunrise is the charitable arm of a very successful collateral lending group. And so when you hear us say it's not this and it's not that, it's true because it's not a company. Profitable Sunrise is the umbrella for this group of charities. There's 20 of us, 20 charitable groups called private groups that have been embraced by this very successful, wealthy group of business people who formed a private hard money lending or collateral lending business 6 years ago. And the way that I fit into this is because I am the vice president of Focus Up Ministries, which I founded in 2009 and has come to fruition as a 501c3 nonprofit. And as you know, I've asked God to guide me in his wisdom as to where I want to be. He is bringing me to the reality that my job is to help the ministry, the kingdom expand. And so Focus Up Ministries is not a church. It is a ministry that helps ministries, and we are non-denominational. So with that being said, the way it all connected was that I just so happened to have a very large experience in direct sales and network marketing over the years. I love the independence of being in the field and working in an industry that has no boundaries. But I also am corporate, and I've worked for many companies helping them to brand themselves and become successful. I'm a former Mrs. Ohio, a former Miss North America, and Miss Miami Beach when I was younger, so I had lots of television exposure and got to work with Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas on Miami Vice and John Cougar Mellencamp and Bob Dylan and do all kinds of wild things. So I've had a very unusual life. I've traveled extensively internationally, and through the industry that I have been in the most recently, and has taken me extensively into Asia as well. So I have a wild background of lots of different things that God has blessed me with, and He's given me different kinds of skills. I have great compassion for people worldwide, especially in third world countries that struggle, because I've been there. I've seen what that is. I understand that, and my father is international as well, so I understand the patience of working with people from different cultures. But I also understand that right here where I live is a huge need, is a great cry that's coming out from the people here, that they need things to be better. They need something different. Whatever we're doing is just not working. And so when this all came together, it happened like this. Because of my background in understanding building teams and things like that, I knew that it was a good way for me to build a business in this economy, because people were looking for things. However, when I got the call initially to understand the power of building a community and integrating that with a program that will compound daily, I actually didn't build a very big team with that. I put my own money in, and I saw it grow, and I saw it explode, and I'm like, okay, this thing is incredible. The challenge that we have today is that companies, you have to have a certain type of company that you align yourself with in order to have a stable future. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'll just to take it back to you, David. But that gives you a little bit of a feel for where it is. And my phone call that I got was from a good friend who said that Profitable Sunrise was doing a great job. They were a Christian-based program. And through that process, I was nominated to have my own group and was interviewed and accepted by the founder of Profitable Sunrise, who is Roman Novak, that we would form a group. So I formed NJF Global as our group umbrella to support our ministry, which is Focus Up Ministries. And so that's how it all came together.
Right. Okay, thank you, Nancy. That's awesome. I will actually kind of start with something you just mentioned. You said we're going to talk about it later. Guess what? We're going to talk about it now.
All right.
The whole regulatory issue, because we know, I'm sure many of the people on this call know from previous experience, that when you're dealing with particularly an American-based company, there's a regulatory risk out there and a compliance risk that is very real. Okay, and so one of the questions that has come up time and time again is, well, why is this any different? What is it about this, or what things about this make this a more sustainable and protected situation? Could you maybe just talk to that a little bit about, because I know you got a lot of experience. You got 30 years in network marketing, so
I've seen it all, and I've actually seen 4 companies be attacked by their local state attorney general's offices for the same reasons across the board. I have a friend of mine who works for the Food and Drug Administration, and we were working on an infomercial one day, and I asked her, I said, why are you here as a food and drug rep to help us with the marketing of this project? And she said, well, Nancy, she said, the attorney general's offices across the country are broke. And they literally hire people whose full-time jobs is to go find companies that when they hit a certain profit margin of success, they will try to find any excuse they can to go in and fine them or shut them down, because that's how they make money. And so she said, well, you have to make sure that you have got everything protected. And she said, so that's why I'm here on this particular project, because you're dealing with a nutrition product, and we have to make sure that it's secure, and we're doing. She said the top 3 companies that get hit by the Attorney General's Office investigations are infomercials, network marketing platforms or MLM companies, and direct selling companies. The reason being because they have a ratio that they have to balance between customers and investments coming in from people buying start kits or putting money in to get started in the program. And many times people are more interested in making money, so you'll get more people signing up to do the business end of it and investing in a start pack of $500 to $1,000 or more. Then you'll have customers actually randomly purchasing the products that are not affiliated with the company. And this has been a challenge that goes way back. I mean, New Skin was one of the first ones to get in trouble for garage qualifying their people because everybody was buying the start packs to make commissions, but there wasn't any customers actually using the products that were not in the business. So that's how that started. I'm not sure if Amway ever got in trouble for that, but I know they had some other issues. But there's other companies that have been fined over the years that basically just had an explosion of interest, especially during a time of a recession where people are looking to find other ways. And so that balance, that balance keeps affecting companies over and over again here in the United States. And most recently, a very large company that was really blessing people with a lot of prosperity has the same issue. It's the same thing. They don't have the customer ratio versus the amount of people putting money in, and so they got the security laws are so loose here in the United States. It's real easy that any company could get in trouble, but they won't touch you until you hit about $50 million a month, and then they'll come in because they know that they only get a percentage of the take. So you have to be making enough money in order for them to justify the time and effort that it takes for them to find and do the investigation. So it's really unfortunate, and it happens. It has happened, and it will happen to more of them. So when I saw Profitable Sunrise was offshore, that was the very first thing that attracted me to the project.
Which is kind of
was
the
that fact that it was offshore.
Which is sort of the opposite sometimes for what people are thinking. It's like, oh, if it's offshore, it's a red flag. But in this case,
not at all.
Seems like it's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing for us because there's no we have some protection here. And mind you, if you're with a company that's kind of flaky out there and they're offshore, yes, you absolutely could get taken on it. But in this particular instance, it's a little bit different type of platform. First of all, there are companies out there that are offshore that do sell advertising packages or ad clicks or impressions and things like that. And those things are, again, a product. They're an intangible product. And you know doggone well that there is not millions of people out there buying ad impressions. They don't even know what they are. They're not buying little ad packages. They don't even know what they are. You know it's distributors. It's all distributors putting money in, claiming that they're buying these packages because they're just trying to say they have customers when, in fact, they really don't. But the regulations offshore are not as strict as they are here in the U.S. Sure. However, if that company that's offshore is doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and they have an attorney or any kind of presence here on USA soil, they have now connected themselves to the U.S. and they're still liable. Right. So it's really interesting, and I'm finding more and more that I need to distance myself from programs that depend on a customer ratio during a recession, where people don't have money to buy products. Right. That's the first thing I'm finding as a flag for myself, that I need to be careful in aligning myself with that too heavily. I'm not saying I have a couple companies I do like, that I like their products, but to build large and heavy and count on that to not happen again, I can't be guaranteed it wouldn't happen again. Sure.
And the other thing that I think that was attractive to me as I spoke to you more was not only is it offshore, okay, that's one thing, but the other thing is it's not, like you said before, and I hate to start out with a negative, but this is not a company. I mean, this is not a company structure. We don't sell anything. We don't have a product. Okay, we're actually, the only thing that you can really describe that we're doing is we're renting money to a private lending arm that is then paying us an award, a daily award for that rental. And the reason you can say it's a pure rental, and I used to sell copiers, so I know this. Okay, it's a pure rental because you're getting your money, you're getting the principal that you do put into that cycle, you're getting back at the end of the cycle. So
exactly.
And that differentiates it from the HYIP
Everything.
world as well, and the money game world, which
Right.
again is mistaken for an HYIP, or it's mistaken for an MLM. But it's the more I dug into it, the more I went, wow, this is a really different animal. I can't really define this, and
yes.
and then we talked more about that, and so just one more thing on the regulatory area. Can you give me a feel beyond what we just said? What makes you feel good that the SEC or an Attorney General's office isn't going to really have much of an interest or a reason or an idea about, if we do get more successful in building our communities, that won't happen to us.
Well, I had those thoughts, David. I thought, okay, we are dealing with a lending group, and we are, as you say, we're renting our money. They do give it back, which the other, HYIPs do not do that. They keep your money, and you only get back the interest. We get it all back. So I was thinking to myself, how can I say this in a way that would keep me compliant with the fact that if I am not a securities officer, a licensed securities person, how can I talk about this program? And I had to go back to the roots of how I got invited in. I am not here in this program because of a business opportunity. I am not here in the program because of the fact that, I can just make higher interest on my money. I'm here because I am part of the charitable arm, which is called Profitable Sunrise, of a very successful hard money lender group. They have created a charity, whereas people involved with the charity can have a better life, where people who are involved with the charity can help other people because they're being blessed. And here's how it started. Back in 2009, Roman was approached by some ministers and that were needing some help with projects, and he's very passionate about Czechoslovakia and about the people there being very unchurched, and they need to plant churches there. So they were looking at ways to take money that they had and make more money. And Roman knew that in his program he was making very good money. And so he put together the Profitable Sunrise side of it with the compounding and knowing what their margins are and where they were at and what they can do, and put that together for everybody to participate in. And that's how it started. So they formed the first group, and then other groups were formed after that, and now there's 20 groups, and I am, and yourselves, we're all part of that. We're part of a charity, a giant charity. So
right.
When people ask us what we do, we're supporting a global charity. That's what we do, and we're being blessed for doing that. That's just it. And if we talk in that matter of fact, we won't get in trouble. But if we go out there and we say, hey, I can show you how you can make 2.15 a day on your money, that's
right.
a different conversation you're having here, because, first of all, you don't really have the authority to say that outside of Profitable Sunrise as the charity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so in order for us to come in, we had to have our own charity as well, because we have to validate that here in the U.S. we have a charity. And that's where Focus Up Ministries came in, as a 501c3. And that's why it is important that every member does provide something for Focus Up Ministries. And I've requested from Roman, I want a list of everybody so I know, because that validates you that you support the charity as what we're contracted to do, coming as a community together. And also, we want to provide people who do that with extra things that they would like to help them, such as PowerPoints and tools and marketing things and calls and trainings that we can give back to you for helping to support that. So it's really a cool thing. And within our charity, you may have someone who's very passionate about something, okay, about something that they want to support, and they can actually say, I want to give $10,000 to feed the children, but I'm going to do it through Focus Up Ministries. I want the people to see our charity growing. But you could allocate something, and then because Focus Up Ministries is a 501c3 and Feed the Children is a 501c3, we can write a check to them.
So that's very important. Let me make sure I understand that. So, because that's kind of new information for me. So if I say, if one of my charities that I'm very passionate about is Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
And I wanted to allocate some and make a donation to Habitat for Humanity, I could do that through The Focus Up
Yes.
Ministry.
Do it through Focus Up. And we connect it. You send us an email, tell us what it is. We validate that you did it. We will send them a check in your behalf. You will get the tax write-off directly from Focus Up. So when you see it for your tax purposes, you'll say, I donated, $10,000 to Focus Up Ministries, and you'll see that. We'll send you a receipt for the donation, but you will allocate to us. You want it to go to Habitat Humanity, so it does a two-step process. One,
right.
it satisfies our part of being a real charity to the umbrella charity, and it also satisfies your desire to help a charity that you are passionate about.
And it fulfills that initial requirement that, because I noticed on our one-sheeter, it says something about within the first 60 days, a minimum $25 donation to Focus Up Ministries, and you do get some perks for that. But people can do that out of earnings if they want, whatever. But that's the minimum kind of thing that people do.
That's the minimum. We need everybody to put 25 in, so that way legally you can say, I support a charity. This is part of my charitable fundraising things. Now, that's the first part of this.
Okay.
The first part of this, Profitable Sunrise, is supporting your charity. Our charity is Focus Up Ministries. The second part of this is that you can create your own little fundraising story. Let's say you have two children in college like myself. Okay, my fundraiser is that I need to raise $40,000 for each of these kids as a scholarship to pay for their college.
Right.
So when people ask you, why are you doing this? I'm doing this because I'm raising scholarship money for the kids.
Right. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Each one of us, you may have a situation where you are so over your head in debt, and you don't want to live like that anymore. All right? So your fundraiser is to be a debt-free steward. You're going to be a good steward, and you're going to get yourself out of debt, and you're going to get yourself back on track, and so that is your personal fundraiser.
Right.
So if you talk in the language of fundraisers, personal fundraisers, and then group fundraiser, a community fundraiser is Focus Up. The personal fundraiser is you and what you need in your life to occur. If you talk in that language, it will defer the people who want to say the word, are you selling securities?
Right.
You're not going to say securities because we're not talking in that language. We talk about the fundraisers and the charities. Everybody knows what that is. It's a good thing. It's a happy thing. It's not a bad thing.
And your fundraising, the fundraising can be for some personal goals. It could be for some community goals. It could be for some specific, charity efforts, or, we were talking.
It could be a person.
Well,
so
Armin and I.
Their home.
Yeah, Armin and Pete and I were talking about this, though. It's interesting, we all have some connections to nonprofit organizations. I'm very connected to the arts organization here in the Chicago area.
There you go.
And the nonprofit arts and theater companies here, the development directors, the grant money is drying up and has been for the last 15 years, and even more so now. So something like this would be, a real great thing to support arts organizations that are underfunded. And I'm sure there's, we could go on and on about the various nonprofits that are looking for this kind of thing. So,
so when you say this, David, I want to just interject this.
Sure.
$1,000 donation that is put into Profitable Sunrise in behalf of a nonprofit, in behalf of the arts, you leave that in for 170 working days, and that 1,000 has grown into 37,000. If you have 10 people that do that,
right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
It's huge for the charity.
Right. So whether you're doing it for them as in terms of a project that you're getting behind fiscally, or you're showing them a way for them to do it with whatever donors they have, who I know are giving them money, but probably not enough to support them fully. Yeah, it's a very interesting concept. Thank you, Nanci. That's awesome. I know we're getting a little bit late here, so I wanted to move on here a little bit to Armin. I know you had a few questions, and I think they were kind of related to what we were just talking about. So maybe you can chime in here.
Yes, thank you, David. Thank you, Nanci. Also, I just want to challenge everyone on this call. regarding the charity for the people that are in there to go ahead and make that donation. In fact, while we were on the call, I just made my donation just a couple minutes ago. Nanci, I've got a couple questions for you. Since you just hit upon it with David, how would we go about introducing to a church or to an organization? How should we go about doing it, and what should we say? Could you
Sure.
talk a little about that?
The way I started the call, you can say, I'm working with a charitable arm of a very successful collateral lenders group out of Europe. And we have an opportunity to create some incredible support for your charity. And what I'd like to do is set up an appointment to show you how this can work for what we have in our hands for you, but also for your current membership. If they would like to participate, it can create things that you needed to have happen that may not be happening right now, goals that you have or goals that you'd like to make for yourself. We can show you how that can occur through the profitability and the success that's coming off of this program. So we are representing the charitable arm, Profitable Sunrise, to help support your charity.
Wonderful. That's great. That answered that perfectly. Also, we have a lot of people that are network marketers in the program. And how would you address to them, because I know a lot of them are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn,
Sure.
all the various social media, to keep us compliant, to keep us off the radar, could you just share a brief, if they do want to make a post, if they can, what should they say and no more than that?
I think that we need to be careful about flashing off our 2.15, first of all, because when we just go out there and we say, hey, you want to make 2.15% on your money, call me, okay? You've put yourself into a category instantly that you're offering a promised guarantee of money that you're going to be able to provide them with if they do business with you. And that puts you in a very different situation than if you said, hey, we've got an amazing program. If you're looking to, for a project that you need funding for, and that's really the key, you're looking for funding. Are you looking for funding for a personal project or for a something where it's on a much larger scale? We work with a company, I don't want to say company, I have to detox myself too. The Hard Money Lenders Group is the company, but we work with a charity that likes to support and help other people get to their goals. And you keep it pretty gentle on that to attract the fish to the bait. And I know in network marketing that's what we do, is to put out good information that will attract people. But we have to be careful that we're not attracting them to something that is not true, because we can't guarantee that they're going to make anything. This is not our company. This is not our program. We can tell them what we've experienced. We can tell them what we've learned, what we've researched, what we know so far. But they have to understand that this is something that we're doing because they have reached out their charitable arm to us. So simply, we've got a great program. They're offering support and funding to help people that have needs. If you are that person, we'd love to talk to you about what this can do for yourself, for your business, and for goals that you may have if you have a charitable organization.
Oh, that was wonderful. That was a great answer. I really appreciate that. And my last question also is, because with the 2.15%, I think we need to stay away from using terms like investment and things like that. Could you expound a little bit on that?
Yeah, we're going to try to give everybody some language classes. You're going to learn a new language, all right? We don't want to use the word investment, but you can use the word support. In other words, we get support from this program. And if they say, well, what kind of support? Well, we get support based on the daily profits. And we do, because you see there's a profit margin between what is loaned out and what they pay the people putting the money in. I'm going to say investors just for you to hear, but it really, at the end of the day, it's the supporters of the charity, because you have to understand, we are not allowed to be in this game and in this program and in this world without being in our charity. And it is through our charity that we are supporting the Hard Money Lenders Group, who in turn is supporting us back by allowing us to come in as a group. Because normally, if you wanted to be a actual investor in their program, normally you have to come in with $200,000 to get the 2.1%. We've been in this long enough now that we've grown our group that we are at 2.15%. We would never get that had we not come through the charity, the charitable arm. Now, there are people who may randomly bump into the Profitable Sunrise site or hear it gossiped about that it's a high-yield program. It does have a high yield of return for what you do, but it is not a program where you're buying a product or buying ad packages, or like what David said, where they will take away your principal deposit and you will never see it again. We are literally doing what David said. We're renting our money for a good cause. We're renting our money out for a good cause. And not just a good cause because of the charity side, but if you really understand what hard money lenders do, collateral lenders, they are usually a group of very private, wealthy people who have come together to create lending packages and programs for companies and individuals who normally could not or may not be able to get them. Two reasons why they cannot, and this goes back to the saying that when there's challenges, opportunity rises. There was a challenge a few years ago in the banking industry, and the banking industry was collapsing. They came back and they decided they would no longer do short-term loans. That created a challenge on another level for small businesses and large businesses that used to be able to go to their bank to get bridged when they wanted to buy a franchise. They needed money up front to buy that franchise and then get everything going, or to get the construction equipment they need to build a new condominium location. And they have to get something started first before the big banks will come in and fund them. They can't do that anymore. So what happened with the challenge of no more short-term loans, big-time people out there who do big business, who are wealthy, started to pool their money together to create short-term loan platforms. And those are called collateral lenders because they require 100% asset-backed, and assets meaning real estate-backed loans. So you may not have the money as a business owner to do the project you wanted to do all by yourself and get it started. But if you own a building or you own property or you own a company, you have to use your company or your real estate against the loan in order to get it. And if you're a little bit short, one of the things that Roman does is he actually has created a platform of insurance where they will counterbalance. Let's say you need $1 million loan, and they will take care of $800,000 is backed by real estate, hard assets, but $200,000 isn't. So that's where Roman would go and get insurance, and he would then use that. It's like farmer's insurance against your crop going bad. That's what this is. It's an insurance policy to make sure that loan ever defaulted. The insurance company will pick up 70%. And then Roman would only have to pay 30%. So our money is very, very secure because of this. And that's what makes it so attractive for me, because of the backing of how this all works.
Well, thank you so much. You've answered all my questions, and I'm just so thankful to you and to this whole company and the process and being able to help people around the world. Back to you, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Herman. And, Nancy, great answers, and I'm sure it's prompting some more questions. I know that one other gentleman who's on the panel here does have a couple questions. Pete, are you there?
I'm here, Dave. Thank you.
Okay.
Nancy, you had mentioned before with when you give a donation, you'll be getting marketing materials. Does that include like pages or autoresponders, or is that something that we need to set up? What is the group actually doing for marketing that so we all stay compliant and don't have any issues?
Well, it just so happens that I'm a person that gets hired by companies to come in and brand them. And so I'm so excited to be on this project because I get to brand it. I get to create the image that we want to have go out there on our project because we have a private community, because we have a private group. So I have partnered with a gentleman who also, and I say partnered meaning that he's in our group and he's agreed to do this for us for free to help. So we're donating our time. Everybody's donating. And we're going to create several things. Right now we have a PowerPoint that will be finished today that will go out. I just started sending out a single sheet update that it has what I just said to you in this call in a very condensed one sheet document. We are updating our chart that shows the growth and increase, and you see me using these words. Instead of saying the word compounding, I say the word increase. Instead of saying deposits, I say support. Instead of saying members or investors, we use the word participants. We do this to keep ourselves aligned with our focus of that we are under an umbrella of charity, and that's the language that you speak when you are in that arena. And so it will keep us safe and secure from saying things that will cause people to ask the wrong questions to those that come in that are new and that don't know how to answer those questions if we teach everybody the right language. And these are things that you're going to get from us because of your support for the ministry. Because here's the thing. If I wasn't doing this, I would be just working on just the ministry right now. So in order for me to help everybody, that having the support coming into the ministry counterbalances what I'm doing. And it makes it all about the ministry. And that's why I'm so excited, because I love working with all of you, and I love helping you, and I love designing things. And we have in line to put together, and I'm getting all the script done now, and then I will be sending it over today to my friend who has an autoresponder system. And he's going to take it then and clean it up and take it to the next level so it looks like something coming out of New York City. And it will be very beautiful, and it will tell the story the right way about what we're doing, what the benefits are, and it will be set up in a way that each person can have their own autoresponder system. And they'll have their website, they'll have their presentation, they'll have when someone clicks on it, they'll get an email that has the appropriate script that is in the right verbiage. So that way every person that comes to our group will be able to intelligently communicate with people even though they themselves don't quite yet know what to do. But that will come through their donation to the ministry. And we're going to have different perks and different goodies that we have had come to us that is kind of like what you see on television when if you come in at a 25 level or a 50 level or whatever levels, different levels that you want to come in with a donation. And it's just a one-time donation. It's not a monthly thing. That you will get this level of perk that you want for yourself, because some people might not care about having an autoresponder system, but other people do. So we're going to try to make this so that way I can, reimburse for any cost on this, because we will have to pay some type of a hosting fee ourselves here, and so I have to make sure that that's covered. But I don't want you guys to have to pay any monthly anything for this if I can avoid it. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm pretty sure we can do that. So it'll just be part of the donation process. So your gift will be rewarded. There will be no gifts that will be given that will not have a reward that will come back for being so kind to donate to the ministry. And we also, right now, I'm working with Roman to get the donate button to connect so that I can go in and directly see everybody at all times. Right now I cannot. So unless you email me and you tell me the amount that you donated, I can't see exactly what it is quite yet, but that's coming. And he said he should have that done for me just shortly. So that's why I've been kind of quiet about the donation side of it, but it's a very important side because it's what makes us legal. And I've been quiet about it because I needed to have that donate button connect to show me so I can click and I can see all of you and who has put money in and who has not put money in yet, so that way I can see, where everybody's maturity is in the plan.
That was my next question. I just wanted, because the donate button is on the home page there, so to donate.
Yeah, it's there for people. You can click on it, but when you do, and it will automatically put your money in, it doesn't tell me that you did it.
Okay, so we got to email you and let you know that, hey, I put in 25, 50, whatever amount that you put in, and then you'll know what to do at that point in time. Exactly.
And I'm going to request on my back office page to put some instructions there. I'm going to be sending that in so that everybody, when they go to their back office page, they see the donate button, it will say there what they should do once they tell me where they're at with things. If we need to go ahead and just say, please email NJF Global if you made a donation so we can give you a receipt and give you credit for the donation. Or if he's got it ready for me where I don't have to have them, email me to get credit, but only if they want to receive, because as you know, we have people all over the world. So I don't know if they could use this as a tax write-off or not.
Right.
But they can here in the United States. So, but I also am going to put some instructions in the back office, getting started instructions to help people as they're first coming in to reach out to their upline or person. And by the way, I'm also requesting that we get rid of the words upline and downline off of the system completely because it sounds MLM-ish, and that's not who we are.
Exactly. Yeah, Dave had mentioned that. And the last question I have is, I know we have Dave's group that Dave has very nicely set up. Are there any other groups like ourselves as part of your group, and would that be something you'd want us to work together with you so that we can just all coordinate and try and make this thing even bigger than it can possibly be?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
We're going to form a board of directors. We are going to form a board of directors, and right now I'm watching the leadership. I mean, you guys are doing a great job, so definitely, you would be involved with that, of course. I'm right now watching other leaders rise up who are doing a good job at taking care of their people and their team, and that group, as I'm developing trust with them, that'll be like our advisory board or whatever, and you guys will have calls together where we can discuss ideas and put schedules together so that the entire group can participate.
Fantastic. Well,
Terrific.
That was all I had. Thank you very much for your time today, Nancy. Well, David, back to you just in case there's any more.
Not a problem. Thanks, Pete. And thank you again, Nancy. Okay, guys, we've got, we have a limited amount of time because I know that Nancy has to leave at about 5 minutes of the hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I want, Nancy, I'm going to try to open this up for some questions. Just a few ground rules. We need to let Nancy go at 5 minutes till. So we've got 8 minutes. So if you could please do two things for me. If you have a question or a comment, can you please *6 to unmute yourself, tell us your name, where you're calling from, and please limit yourselves to just one question so we can get in as many questions as we can. So does anybody have a question or a comment?
Nancy. Gary Thompson, what is the email address we send to Nancy?
Nancy, your email address, yeah.
Yeah, my name is Nanci Jo Frazer, so it's my initials, NJF Global. That's N as in Nancy, J as in Joe, F as in Fraser, global@yahoo.com.
Thank you.
Okay. Next question.
And it's in your back office, by the way. You see it there, plus my phone number is there as well.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy,
and I
this is
really
Charlie
appreciate
Snyder.
it if everybody would send us an email and give us your username, your login name, the phone number you want us to put in our records, and the email you want us to use. And if it's different from the one you put in the system, then also give us the one that's in the system and let us know so that way we can communicate with the company as to your identity. Your identity is your login name and your email combined. And if we don't have both of those, we cannot tell the company who you are.
Okay.
And we want to know who your sponsor is as well, please.
Okay. Charlie, I heard you asking a question.
Yes. Nancy, this is Charlie. I had asked you this in private on Skype, but there's other people who want to know the same answer, so I thought I'd ask it here too. On the chart, it shows a limit of $100,000 that somebody could put in. is that a limit or is that just an example? Because I could see some organizations or groups, maybe even a business, being able to put that much in. And are they allowed to do
it's
that?
just an example. There, to my knowledge, of what we've done, there's no cap.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Well, that was simple. Okay.
And that the numbers on that becomes outrageous. We have Sean Williams on here. He just signed up the other night. He's a banker, and he ran an incredible spreadsheet for me. And if we go through 3 rounds, starting with only $200, it turns into millions that you reinvest by your 3rd round. And that's what really raised the question.
Well, and in turn, they're constantly reinvesting too. They are constantly bringing in new lenders, new loans. They batch the money out and float it between 2,000 loans to counterbalance. So if they've got a certain amount of money that's growing really fast, it's put into a longer-term lending program, or it could be pulled into shorter terms too. If it's a large amount, they may say, okay, well, we've got 20 accounts here that we can divide this money in between, and they're repetitive accounts, because there are literally in this world of hard money lending, I'm learning that payroll companies actually use them to bridge themselves for their clients. A lot of times companies can't even pay their payroll on Friday because their money is coming, and until it comes because of a big order or something, they have to be bridged. So there's all kinds of reasons why they do things. But the other piece that I want you to know is that there is a cap on this, and that when we hit $1.5 billion, at that point, that's where Roman had said that he feels that they can no longer take in any new investors. He said that, he has hoped that this would last for about 5 years as far as allowing new people to come in. But, it could, as soon as, 2 years, actually reject taking on new people.
Although those of us who are in here could remain and
oh yeah, we stay in the community, but they just won't let any new people. And he can always adjust things too as he sees that they're hitting certain margins. They know where they're at, and they can always adjust the rate as well. Because remember, it goes clear down to 1.6. So we're getting this rate right now, but it doesn't mean we'll always get this.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Nigel in London here. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Hi. Do you foresee the addition of credit card as a means of placing deposits, which in turn increase the perception of credibility, please?
Well, actually, credit cards are a nightmare when you're doing a global platform because of credit card fraud. And you'll find that a lot of companies don't want to even have any type of credit cards involved unless the company themselves embraces their own personal platform. I'm not sure that that's what they want to do because, again, this is not a company about, it's not an MLM company, let's put it that way. It's not a direct selling company. It's a charitable arm that we're dealing with that is not really an entity. It's a fundraising charitable arm that is embraced us so that we could make money for our projects and be blessed. But at the end of the day, their hard money lenders group is not about this. It's not about this charitable arm. It's an extra thing that they have that's really nice, but it's not a company. So for them to go to a credit card company and say, well, we want to have our own credit card, our own deposit system under Profitable Sunrise, they can't do it because it doesn't exist as a company, but they can do it under their own personal company, but that may be a conflict with them as being collateral lenders to do that. So, because I have another friend of mine who has a e-commerce check type thing, and it's really cool, and it would make it really handy, but I don't know that that's what the goal is here for them. I mean, they're kind of doing us a favor. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you very much.
By letting us be a part of this. But
Okay,
yeah, you don't want credit cards. They're a nightmare. They're especially if you get into the Asian market, they're so clever with credit card fraud.
Great. Well, listen, we've got about 2 more minutes. Nigel, thank you. I'd say we have time for one more question, and then Nancy's going to have to jump.
Nancy, this is Andy in North Carolina.
Hi, Andy. I can.
I may have missed it, but if I did, I know people are going to ask, where does this money come from that we're going to be able to receive and donate?
The money comes from the renting out of our money to people who need a loan. And when he rents out that money, he rents it out at 2.6 to 3% as a bridge loan. I mean, we're like a second-tier lender in a way. I mean, we actually are giving them our money to take it and to loan it out. And that's what this is. And normally you and I, we wouldn't get to participate if we didn't put in like a couple $100,000, and then we would be considered as an investor in their company to get that kind of rate. But through the charity, we formed a group of us that we have already accomplished well over $200,000 in deposits. Because of that, Andy, that's why you get to have this rate. It's because you're in a group that have all come together that's allowing everybody to be blessed at this high level. And it comes from the loans. It's the interest that comes off of those loans that are being lent out every day. That's why we get paid. Over and above our deposit.
Are these training sessions, have you got a window for that yet?
We just kind of do it according to your needs. David knows his schedule for the team and what they want to do, but we will eventually. That's why we're going to put the advisory board of directors together, so that we can plan, we can have a schedule and put this together in a very organized fashion.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Nancy, I want to be cognizant of your time. You're 1 minute late, so you better get out of here.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Okay, but thank you
right.
so much. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a lot of great information. I'm sure we are all grateful and blessed to have you as our group leader. The more you all get to know Nancy, the more you'll realize what a wonderful person, as well as what a terrific resource we have in her, being the head of NJF Global and the head of our private group. So thanks again. I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to just close out the call. Armin and Pete, are you still here?
We're here.
Okay.
We're here.
Well, I'm just blown away. I don't know exactly what to say. I'm going to let you guys each tell me what you think here, and give me your closing thoughts.
Well, let me go first. I'll tell you what. I was excited when you brought this wonderful opportunity to me, but after listening to Nancy's call today, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I can see now the benefits to so many people, so many organizations, and I can't wait to spread the word and to start helping people in this economy. So I just David, I want to thank you for bringing it to me. And Nancy, I want to thank you for bringing it to all of us.
Well, thanks, Armin, and you're welcome. And I will say this. It was interesting, the more I dug into this, like I was saying earlier, the more I dug into this, the more I just went, this is something different, this is kind of cool, but, and I the more I dug and did my due diligence, I was just like, wow, I just couldn't find anything that was scaring me too much, and the more I dug, the more comfortable I felt. And so anyways, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Well, that's what I feel. I feel the same way, and this is really a program, an opportunity that everybody says, if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck,
right.
This one isn't.
Right.
So that's what makes it wonderful.
And it's up to us to make that differentiation. I think that what Nancy is saying, guys, about we got to change our terminology, got to change our culture. Those of us who have network marketing experience and are big builders, we need to embrace some new terminology, and there's going to be a learning curve around that. And that's okay. I think that shift is going to happen. Pete, what are your thoughts?
My first thought is she gave an amazing amount of information that I know I personally need to listen to this call again, because I was trying to write stuff down. I know I missed things.
Well, I got it recorded, so I'll be sending out the recording, so no problem on that note.
Right. So we need to really practice what we're going to say, because I know I've said things that I shouldn't be saying. I've heard things being said on calls that we shouldn't be saying.
Right.
So we need to be cognizant of the rules, because the last thing you want to do is get kicked out of this program because you weren't following them. And you don't want to have a knock on your door from a three-letter agency saying, hey, you did this, this, and that. So I like the idea of, hey, listen, you got two charities here. You got your own personal charity that you say, hey, this is what I'm fundraising for, and then you got the group charity.
You actually have three charities, because you can do through, and this is something I learned today, you can, through Focus Up Ministries, you can direct to your own preferred charity as well.
That is true. Yes,
I
exactly.
think that is fantastic.
Yes.
And it really is.
You know,
that's amazing, because we all have our own favorite charity, and that's great that we can hit the donate button, put that amount in there, send information over to Nancy and tell her, hey, this amount is for X charity. Focus on Ministries is going to send it there.
Yep.
And then, so.
And actually, guys, remember, it's, you know, charity really in this case it includes pretty much any nonprofit, including your favorite arts organization, like I'm talking about. So.
Yeah.
So it's really a wonderful way for you to support in three different ways, whatever you want to support. And if that's a personal thing, a personal goal, so be it, and more power to you. Okay, well, listen, thanks, everybody. I'm going to, it's now 1 minute after the hour. I've kept everybody for a long, long time. I want to thank everybody for joining this call. We are going to have another, albeit shorter call on Friday. That'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern.
No, 3 p.m., Dave.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Pete. 3 p.m. Sorry. We have a conflict with 1 p.m. So 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll have that, and that'll finish off the week. And we'll have some more information for y'all, and we'll be talking about, you know, various things about the organization and about how to grow your community. Okay? So I'm starting to use the terminology. Let's go out there and grow our community. Everybody, have a wonderful day. I hope you got something out of this. I certainly did. And I'll look forward to talking to you on the next call. Bye-bye now.